The galaxy trembled in despair. Planets that once shone like jewels in the cosmic sea now burned with the flames of defeat. Across every system, the same message echoed through broken transmissions and shattered satellites. We are losing the war. The invaders known as the Varkon Dominion had spread like a storm of darkness, consuming one world after another. No alliance, no army, no fleet had managed to stop them. The proud warriors of the Zephyr Empire had fallen. The mechanical legions of Delta Prime had been crushed. Even the ancient Celerans, with their mastery of light energy, were now reduced to whispers in the void. Among the ruins of hope, one name remained: Earth. Humanity had stayed silent while the rest of the galaxy burned. Many races mocked the humans, calling them primitive and fragile. Yet, in their quiet corner of the Milky Way, humanity watched and prepared. They had always been underestimated. When the Galactic Council sent a final cry for aid, humans answered with a calm message: "We will send one ship." The galaxy laughed. One ship against an empire that controlled half the stars? It sounded like madness. But humanity did not explain. They simply began the launch sequence. The ship was called Sol Invictus, meaning unconquered Sunday. It was not the largest vessel ever built, but it was the most advanced creation humankind had ever forged. Its hull was made of living nanometal that could heal itself. Its core was powered by a captured star, compressed into a containment sphere smaller than a human heart. Every weapon aboard was tested only in simulations, because there had never been a need to fire them in reality. When Sol Invictus left orbit, the night sky over Earth burned brighter than ever. Billions watched in silence, their hearts filled with pride and fear. Commander Rian Cole stood on the bridge, staring into the endless darkness. Around him, the hum of power and the rhythm of machinery created a song of determination. He whispered to himself, "For all the fallen." And then, with a flash of light, the ship vanished into the stars. Far away, in the heart of the war zone, the Varkon Armada waited, millions of ships strong. They had destroyed empires. They had broken civilizations. But they had never faced a human warship before. The moment Sol Invictus entered the war zone, every sensor in the Varkon fleet detected it. Millions of enemy ships shifted formation, preparing for an easy kill. The Varkons were a race born for destruction. Their armor like obsidian blades. Their weapons fueled by the energy of captured suns. To them, one human ship was nothing more than a spark waiting to die in the storm. Commander Rian Cole stood on the bridge, calm and silent. Around him, his crew waited for orders, their faces glowing in the dim blue light of control panels. They knew what was coming. Every simulation had shown the same result: survival was impossible. Yet no one turned back. Humanity had decided that if the galaxy was to fall, it would fall after one final fight. The Varkons opened fire first. 1,000 beams of plasma tore through space, each strong enough to destroy a city. The human ship vanished for a moment, swallowed by explosions, and the galaxy held its breath. Then the light faded, and Sol Invictus was still there. Its hull shimmered with molten silver, the nanometal having absorbed and redirected the energy. A deep hum filled the void as the ship's star core began to pulse. Rian gave a single command: return fire. From the ship's wings, beams of white light erupted, slicing through enemy ranks like lightning through storm clouds. Dozens of Varkon ships shattered instantly, their black hulls glowing red before breaking apart. The galaxy watched through scattered transmissions, unable to believe what it was seeing. The Varkons screamed across their channels, their arrogance turning into fear. More ships advanced, forming a wall of steel and fire. But Sol Invictus moved like a living being, weaving through destruction with impossible precision. In the control chamber, Rian's voice remained steady: target their command vessel. The ship responded with perfect obedience. Energy built up in its core until space itself seemed to ripple. A single blast fired, bright enough to blind sensors for light years. When vision returned, the Varkon command ship, 3 kilometers long and thought to be indestructible, was gone. Silence followed. For the first time in centuries, the Varkon Armada hesitated. They had met something they could not understand. But Rian knew the battle was not over. The energy core was unstable, and the enemy still numbered in the millions. He looked at the burning stars and whispered, "We have only just begun." The war was changing, and the galaxy was beginning to hope again. The battle raged on across the endless dark. The Varkon Armada, though shaken, regrouped quickly. They came like a wave of black fire, surrounding Sol Invictus from every side. Their commanders shouted orders in their guttural tongue, determined to erase the single human ship that had defied their empire. Inside Sol Invictus, alarms echoed through the corridors. The star core pulsed faster, nearing critical levels. Commander Rian Cole stood tall at the center of the bridge. Sweat lined his face, but his eyes burned with focus. Around him, his crew worked without fear. Every motion precise, every second valuable. They knew the ship could not last much longer, but they also knew that humanity's message must be heard. Humans did not surrender. The Varkans launched their final assault. Thousands of missiles streaked through the void. Rian gave the order to activate the Aegis Protocol, a system never tested before. The ship's hull expanded and shimmered, forming a glowing sphere of pure energy around it. The first wave of missiles struck, exploding harmlessly against the barrier. Then came the second wave, stronger, faster, endless. The shield began to crack. The control panels flickered. Power levels dropped below safety limits. Rian turned to his crew. Prepare for core ignition sequence. His officers looked at him, understanding what that meant. Igniting the core would destroy the ship, but it would also unleash the energy of a star, enough to wipe out the Varkon fleet and save the galaxy. No one argued. They simply nodded and began the sequence. Outside, the Varkans pressed harder, their ships closing in like predators sensing blood. The core chamber glowed brighter and brighter, until light flooded every deck. Rian closed his eyes and thought of Earth, of blue skies, oceans, laughter, and the promise of peace. He whispered softly, "For humanity." Sol Invictus exploded in a silent flash that lit up half the galaxy. The shockwave erased the Varkon fleet in an instant, their ships turning to dust under the wrath of a newborn sun. When the light faded, there was nothing left but drifting metal and quiet stars. Weeks later, across thousands of worlds, transmissions carried a single image, the human flag, burning brightly in the void. The galaxy that once cried in despair now whispered with awe. One ship had changed everything. From that day forward, no one ever called humans weak again. They were known by a new name across the stars, the children of the unconquered sun.